So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things that you should know about the crystal industry, whether you're selling or collecting, whatever it is that you're doing in the crystal industry. I think that there's like 10 must-knows, and let's start off with number one. Polish on your items is something that is really relevant to buying your material. Sometimes you see what's like a polish like this. You can see there's almost like a matte finish here, right? That's way cheaper to do than actually getting a full wet polish, which is something like this, where the item actually looks like a wet polished item. So there's a big difference between matte polish and wet polish. A lot of people use this practice in tumbled stones, where you won't have a wet tumble, because the most expensive part of tumbling something or polishing something is the wet finish. So a lot of the times you'll see people skipping or bypassing that because it saves them like 35% on the actual tumbling. Number two, rough stone is becoming way more relevant than it has ever been in the industry. Before it was only tumbled, tumbled, tumbled. Now we're seeing a very good 50-50 between rough and tumbled. So before we used to sell, I would say 10% rough, 90% was tumbled. Now it's close to 50-50. So I highly recommend getting more into that like rough stone. And we sell here the 2 to 4 centimeter rough that's already pre-sized, and this does really great for everybody. Number three, thank God we are getting into a place where ethical sourcing is becoming really relevant in the industry. Before it was not at all. Now we're seeing ethical sourcing becoming something that's extremely important, and I'm so thankful that it is, because that's been kind of my mission since I started this industry, was to make sure that everything was ethically sourced and fair trade. So make sure that your material is ethically sourced, that it's fair trade, because people want that now. And unfortunately, the wholesalers who are not doing that know that, and they're starting to add that narrative in, even though it's not true. So make sure you verify that your dealers, or whatever it is that you're getting, if you're putting pieces into your collection, that you're getting them from somebody that you trust and that you find to be legit, not just be like, hey, are you fair trade? Yes, I'm fair trade. Okay, that's enough for me. That's not enough. Make sure that your material is fair trade, it's ethically sourced, because again, especially for people who are looking to use their crystals for bringing good energy into their home or healing or whatever it may be, you don't want child slave labor in your material or really horrible practices in your material. So make sure your material is clean. Number four, the mines are definitely rapidly depleting, and I don't mean that they're like becoming completely vacant, but the idea behind this industry has always been miner to manufacturer to distributor to wholesaler, and now we're seeing that kind of process being kind of bypassed to some degree, where the wholesalers are becoming retailers and so on and so forth. So my suggestion is that when you come across really good material that's clean, that was ethically sourced, and it's good grade material, I would get as much of my hands on that as possible, especially if you're in this business for the long haul. I built a large percentage of this business through backstock, meaning that I used to buy out the mines. Even when I had 5 tons of material, I would still buy 3 tons extra, and then 3 tons, and I would just kept buying and buying until I got to this place where I had like an insane amount of backstock. So having backstock is really important now, especially because we don't know how sourcing is going to become over the next couple of years. Number 5, be ready for price hikes. The industry is increasing their prices. Inflation is across the board, from mining to manufacturing to distributing to shipping to importing to exporting, everything. Every single thing is becoming more and more expensive. And until we enter into a situation where stability kind of comes into the economy, which right now the economy is a free-for-all, and nobody is showing up to fix it right now. So we're kind of on our own, and it's really up to us to make sure that we figure out a way to navigate this, to continue doing our business, but also do it in an intelligent way. Number 6, this business is built on trends. The trends come and they go. The thing is that most people who get into this industry, they have success with something in the beginning, and then they think that that thing is going to continue to have success. That's not necessarily true, because the success of a material or an item goes in trends. So let's just say that, let's take ocean jasper for example. Ocean jasper does really, really well for the first quarter of the year. Second quarter of the year, nobody wants it. In the fourth quarter, everyone will want it again. So this is a huge secret. Just because you have a material and it's not selling, it doesn't mean you should move it and sell it really cheap, because when the trend rolls back around, the item will actually go up in value. So I wouldn't be quick to just, sell off stock or inventory that's not selling, because I would rather wait for the trend to roll back around and recoup the funds. Number 7 would be don't mix and match material. So what I see a lot of people doing is they come, they get really good clean material, but then they mix it with unethically sourced stuff or stuff from China. Again, I'm not saying that everything from China is bad, but let's just say that you come and you get really high-end, good quality, good sourced material, and then you go and you buy a bunch of stuff from China and mix it all together. You actually hurt the good inventory that you have. And that's a really big secret. A lot of people can't wrap their heads around it because most of the time, people, especially new people getting into the business, they're looking at dollars and cents, which makes sense, but at the same time, it makes more sense to actually build stability around your product. Don't drop fucking minerals. Number 9. Create a private reserve. It's something that I've done for the last 8 years, which is where whatever material you get in, even if it's a small, let's just say you just got one flat of material, go in here, take the one best piece out and put it aside, pack it away, don't sell it. Hold on to your best of your best stuff long term. The price of minerals is only skyrocketing. So again, what we do is we call private reserve. And then typically what we do is so this is all private reserve stuff that we have right here. What we do is every 7, 8, 9 months, we go through the private reserve and we take out the stuff that we consider, because as we're building so much inventory, we take out the stuff that we don't consider to be the best of the best material, because as you go in the industry, what was the best material for you on day 1 will not be the best material for you on day 365. So as you progress in the industry, you're going to start to realize oh, that's just kind of a normal thing. This is more of a special thing. And as you go, you'll get there. So we typically do that. And then what we do is we take our private reserve and we sell it on the live sales, which is what all this stuff is this is all live sale material right here. All really, really high-end stuff that just kind of slightly misses our private reserve cut where we're going to keep it ourselves. Number 10. Build good, solid relationships with your suppliers. One of the things I see a lot of people do is shoot themselves in the foot over minuscule things. So one of the things I would do is let's just say that you bought an order for $2,000 and you get that order and there's just one little tiny thing wrong with something. Don't make a big stink about it to your wholesaler. Maybe if you want to let them know that you're not making a big stink about it, I think that's okay. But I can tell you from my personal experience, when I consider somebody to be I'm are you kidding me? One little thing and you're giving me a hard time for $5 or $10 or something like that. It's really tough. And again, I understand that you're a small business, you're trying to save every dollar, but at the same time, you really want to get on the good side of your suppliers. You want your suppliers, when it's time to think about someone, to think about you. You want to make sure that they really like you. And again, that doesn't mean to keep your mouth shut and not complain. Something shows up and something's wrong, I get it. But pick and choose your battles a little bit. It's one of the things that I've learned over the last 10, 12 years. You want to make sure your suppliers really like you, because when the big stuff happens, when the good stuff happens, you're going to be on their mind.